welcome to my World of Tanks, or welcome back to V Blue Guitars reviews of World of Tanks. I want to start tonight by saying a disclaimer. One, these are my opinions on these tanks. I had somebody get very hostile towards me in the forum about one of my reviews, and that was the Panther M10, saying that if you couldn't do the amount of damage of health that the tank has, then you shouldn't be reviewing it. And while I understand the criticism, and he makes a valid point, somebody else made a valid point that it's pretty difficult to do that because the Panther M10 doesn't do a whole lot of damage with the gun it has, and it has a lot of health for a medium tank. So anyway, it brings me to say this. I am reviewing this as a person who is not a unicum. I'm not out there showing you what I can do with the tank. In a sense I am, but because I am such an average player at 51.4% that I am currently, so let's just say 51% for all intents and purposes, that really you're just seeing the tank being driven by, could be anyone. Now, you know, I think they said that the server average actually is like 48%, so I'm 2 or 3 percentage points above that, but I'm still pretty close to, I'm not getting an 80% overall win rate like some guys do. So when I do these reviews, I'm doing it for your benefit so that you can see how an average person plays the tank. I make mistakes. I don't necessarily perform as well as somebody else might in the tank, and I do better than some people. So my opinion is going to be different than somebody else's. I've got guys that are amazing players that have the opinion that the Super Pershing is the best tank of all time. Personally, I hated it. I liked playing it, but it ruined my stats because I did so poorly in it. And other people have had this problem. Now, on the other side, I've had guys that are 45% players that are like, the Super Pershing's awesome. And I'm like, you've got a 40% win rate in it. How can you say that? Because they don't care. So everything here is opinion. Anyway, so we're going to move along here. This was a request. Somebody said, hey, do you have a Matilda 4 review? And I said, well, I've done it before when it's gone on special, lumped in with other tanks. But tonight I'm going to take a special look at this tank. Now, let me start by saying this. When I first got this tank, it was amazing. It really was. Things have happened since then that make it not quite so amazing. And one of those things is the release of the line of German tank destroyers. So the tiers, from the 38T all the way up to the, I think you'll face the Nashorn at tier 6. And those tanks have zero regard for the armor of this tank. So they're just going to pen right through it. So what used to be amazing armor has now turned into just okay armor if you run into one of those. And there's other tanks too that have come out since that really don't have an issue penetrating the Matilda. It used to be a beast. It is not quite so much a beast anymore. However, if played properly, it can still do a lot of damage. And I've actually had battles premium where I've made 60 to 80,000 credits in this tank because of the amount of damage I did. Now, the gun sucks, I'm going to be frank with you, and the tank is slow, so you're going to have to get used to those things. However, this tank has one thing that very few other tanks have, and that is absolutely stellar gun depression. I think it's negative 13 or negative 13.5, so the gun will point down at almost this angle, and you can hit things by crawling up the side of a hill. And I've showed you some of the Japanese tanks are doing that now. The tier 2 and tier 3 Japanese lights do that. The Dicker Max and the new line of German tank destroyers can do it. This tank can do it. So what that allows you to do is to go up against the side of a hill and keep your tank covered and run up the side and point your gun down, which is now pointing straight out. And it allows you to really protect a majority of the tank while firing on opponents that can't necessarily hit you, or at least you're mostly covered. And that's a big deal. So it still can be used successfully. However, you really have to finesse this tank. Now, I say that this tank is very similar to the American M10 Wolverine. Fast rate of fire, low penetration gun, though the Wolverine gets much higher penetration actually, but it's still seemingly low penetration. And then it also gets a very high rate of fire. So let's go ahead and take a look at the gun. It's a strong point, but it's also a weak point. Here we have a very low 86 penetration. And that puts us just below the T14 as the other premium to go against. It's just not much penetration at Tier 5. However, look at that rate of fire. We can fire once every 3 seconds or so. Okay accuracy, not great. Okay damage, not great. But a very fast aim time. So, you're looking at a tank that, in the right situation, can do a lot of damage. However, if you come up frontally against a Churchill 3 or a KV-1 or the KV-220 or any Tier 5 heavy, you're going to have a hard time penetrating it from the front. You really have to flank, and that's a difficulty because this tank only goes 25 kilometers per hour top speed. It is slow. So you're going to have to get into sniper-esque positions and shoot and hope that you run against softer tanks or you get on the side of a tank. Let's look at the traverse speeds. Not bad at 35. The turret traverse is 34. Not great, but it's not bad either. It's about the same. It's about 3 less than most other mediums. So, yeah. Now, with that slow speed, though, I mean, it kind of helps a little bit because it keeps you from getting into trouble as long as you stay with the terrain. So, just like any other tank that's a slow mover, you have to learn not to cross open fields. I know it's tempting sometimes to get the shortest route, but you're never going to make it. If you go out into the field in the open, you're going to get picked to shreds or cut to shreds instantly. So, now, the armor is okay. It's not bad. It's not as much as most Tier 5 heavies, but it's okay. And when you run against Tier 4 and Tier 3 tanks, which you do see, they're going to have a difficult time penning you. You've got 75 on the front, all the way around pretty much the turret and the tank. 70 on the sides of the hull, 75 on the side of the turret, 75 on the back of the turret, so the turret's nice and strong all the way around, and then 55 on the back of the hull. So really, this is a weak spot. I have found that you can successfully pen this tank through these holes. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but a lot of times if he's not angled, you'll be able to get through that. If he angles properly, you'll have a harder time. And then also I found that this area here is a weak spot, obviously, with the little visor there. So sometimes you can shoot them here. You can try hitting it here, though it's really hard to hit. But it's a pretty tough little tank. But if you put it out in the middle of the field, you are going to die. Don't expect it to have God armor. It's got good armor, but it's not God armor. So you need to still protect the tank and play it carefully. Now, tonight, I have a feeling that we are going to run into a lot of Tier 6 matches because they have a special going on right now where if you get, I think it's 700 XP or 700,000 XP, you get a free IS-6. And I think it starts at Tier 6 and up, so people are just playing Tier 6 tanks like crazy. And so that's going to make a little bit of a difficult experience for this tank because it does not perform well on Tier 6. It does perform well on Tier 5, though. So, and for the most part, I've found as I've played this tank that I mostly get Tier 5 battles, but I think tonight that's probably going to be different, so we'll see. But when you're in a Tier 5 battle, you're happy. When you're in a Tier 6 battle, you are going to definitely be on the defensive, and your gun, you're going to be struggling with the gun. You're probably going to have to either load HE or ACPR, and HE is not going to really do much of anything. So, one more thing. As far as the crew training goes, this is an odd duck because the crew for the Matilda does not match up with the Tier 5 T-34 Russian tank. So it's kind of interesting, but I don't think there's a gunner on the T-34. So you have to have a separate guy. Now, when you get to Tier 7 and 8, with the T-43 and then the T-44, and I sold my T-43, but I have the T-44, and you can see my crew matches up exactly with the Matilda crew. So that is a plus. you can run your higher tier 8, and that's the whole thing about the tier 5 premiums that I like in all of the tier 5 premiums. You take a crew from a tank that's tier 8 that you just bought, you pay 75% crew, then you dump them into one of these trainers and you run them until they've got some perks. And you don't even bother running the other. I don't, once in a while I would run it for its double, but I didn't run it very much. I just ran the crew in my Matilda to get them up to snuff so that when they got into this tank, they were ready to run and they were a good crew, because it's very hard to run at tier 8. I don't want to say real hard with a 75% crew, but boy, it's much easier if you have a 100% crew with a couple perks. So, but you'll notice that the A44 crew doesn't match up, and the now the KV13 crew does match up. So there's another tank where, like the T40 or the T43, they're going to match up, but the A44 doesn't match up. The A43 won't match up, and I don't think the Object 416 will match up either, and your T3485 doesn't match up. So this is a specific trainer for the T44, T43, KV13. That's going to be exactly the crews that are going to fit. So let's go ahead and look at, first of all, I use the gun rammer. Obviously, the faster you can fire that crappy gun, the more chances you have of penetrating. So you want that thing firing as fast as possible. I also use the vents because I'm training the crews and I'm giving them a little boost. So hopefully they all do better. And then I use a spall liner on this tank because you're going to get hit by arty quite frequently. So this is a slow-moving tank, and artillery knows it. They go after it. And a lot of times if you're at the end of the game and you're the only guy remaining on your team, obviously they're going to be calling in arty strikes on you. So you need to be well-armored and well-prepared to take hits. And I found that, it does reduce about 50% of the damage, 25%. But that's a big deal. If I get hit by arty and he's going to do half my damage, now he's only doing 25% of it. So it's worth it. I also, of course, as usual, I run my repair kits and my fire extinguisher, which I almost never deploy on time because I'm not that fast on the keyboard. So anything else we need to look at? Radio, it's there. Motor, obviously, is very low horsepower. And in fact, we have more tonnage than we have horsepower on a 10th level. So 28 tons to 274 horsepower. It's not going to make for a fast tank. So anyway, and right now, as you can see, we talked about this a little bit, I'm running my T44 crew. So let's go ahead and look at the stats. So as you can see, whoops, what did I just do? There it is. I have 273 battles in the Matilda. That's a lot. 61% win rate. Now, I will say this was a 63 until those Russian tanks came out. I'm sorry, until the German tank destroyers came out, the new line. So this has been steadily decreasing since that happened. So there's definitely power creep going on here. Now, that's still a really good win rate, though. Average experience 551. That's not great, but it's not bad. So let's look at the performance. I've got as far as maximum destroyed per battle, 7. And I had one night where it had to be luck. I played 4 battles. In 3 of those 4 battles in a row, I'm talking about. So battle 1, battle 2, battle 3, battle 4. Battle 1 and 2 were top guns. Battle 3 was a 5 kill, and Battle 4 was another top gun. I got 3 top guns in 4 battles. That was the night that I got my mastery badge. So it has its moments for sure. I've got a 2.41 destruction ratio, which is fine. That means I destroy almost 2.5 tanks per battle. And then my damage ratio is 1.27. So that's a good ratio. I've dealt out more than I've received. So that's a tank I can be proud of. And it's a tier 5. So that pretty much is where I would say my skill level right now, after playing 10,000 plus battles, I'm a good tier 5 and 6 player, and I'm very comfortable on tier 7. I'm not great on tier 8 yet. I feel like I have a lot to learn still, especially when you get into tier 9 and tier 10 battles. But I'm learning them, and one of the things I'm doing is to go through scouting. But anyway, that's besides the point. So back to this tank. So let's go ahead and run this bad boy. Hopefully it's not going to be as I'm predicting, but I have a feeling it's going to be a rough night. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so you're about to experience a tier 5 match. I'm pretty high up in the list, so this should go fairly well. We'll see. You know, as you know, especially when I'm doing reviews, it seems like it's always a crapshoot. One of the things I'm hoping you'll notice is that I actually fixed my old computer. So I now have my 5750 video card, and it's a Core i5 3.4 gigahertz that turbo boosts to 3.8. It's one of the newer ones, though it's still a year old. This computer got struck by lightning, and it didn't go through my power, it went through my network. So it actually blew out the network card, took out the power supply, and I thought it took out other components, but it turns out it was only the power supply. So I'm very thankful that I was able to figure out what was going on and get this thing working again, because it's actually a pretty nice computer. With the older video card, it still won't run everything full graphics, but it'll run them at acceptable graphics, and I'm happy with that. So this is my Core i5 with 16 gigabytes of RAM and a 2 gigabyte video card, and looks pretty good. Much better than it used to be. I'm hoping that you'll see a difference too. Though, you know, obviously you're still compressing it with Bandicam, and then you're compressing it with the video compressor to get it ready for YouTube. So, oh boy, Beer Slayer up here will push up, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. So I'm going to move this way. Whoops, and we have a B1. And of course I didn't lead him at all. How did that heavy tank disappear? He must have good camo. So I need to scoot across here, and this is very bad because I'm going crosswind right now with bullets. If there are guys over there, they're going to be facing this way. So, but we need to stop this char before he comes around this way. So I'm going to angle with him and angle with them. And here it comes. So took a hit to the tracks, and I need to get behind this building, hopefully. There's the Martyr. That is a very frightening tank for this guy because he can go right through my armor like butter. Now, whoever else was hitting me was not able to do that, so let's just push up here. I apologize if there's any sound issues. I'm going to try to get that corrected. I actually did a couple battles before this, but when I went back to listen to the audio, it wasn't loud enough, and my headphones hadn't been tweaked properly, so... Yeah, see, he'll go right through. Hopefully we can out-BM him. Here comes the Martyr. Yep. So, that armor does pretty good. You can see the Su-85 penetrated me and was right where I told you, right through that side plate. So, I had to push, though. I don't like pushing in this tank because it is a little bit soft. It's a medium, after all. It's a well-armored medium, but it's still a medium. And we were able to take out some of their big tanks. So now it's time to push around. And are these guys going to stop the cap, or are they just going to... I guess we have some time, but still, it's like, dude, do something. Oh boy. Keep moving untracked. I got the T-34. I'm done for. That T-34. I gotta get turned towards him. Where is he? Shoot. Yeah, the T-34 is gonna tear me to shreds. Yep. Dang it. Perfect. Oh well. That was a pretty good game for me. Not great, obviously, but yeah, the T-34 is gonna rip you to shreds with that 57mm that fires every 2 seconds. He's got a 112 pen, and here I am disobeying my own rule of engagement. What did I tell you? Yeah, don't go out in the open. Now, in this case, I really didn't have much of a choice, but I should have waited till I had some support, or at least had that guy lit up, and I got greedy. So, my bad. But it's okay. We won. Meet you at the end. Rule number 1 about capping. Well, I guess he's kind of behind debris. Get behind a dead tank. Oh, there is a dead tank there. Look at that. And they're shooting at it. Oh boy. I think we'll win, but I don't know, man. These guys are not playing so good. This whole TD group over here on the left just decided to bow out and hide. And so that means it's really, if they let them piecemeal. Oh, man. What the heck, guys? Oh, no. Could they really lose this? Okay, good. They got the Stug. Get that PZ3, though. He's ripping people apart. And where did the T-34 go? He's probably heading for the Arty, isn't he? The M4 must be ammo-racked? No, he's 100%. Crappy crew, maybe? That's a really long reload. Okay, so there's the T-34 that got me. Let's see. He missed. Where was he? I really miss my XVM map stuff. But I guess you can survive without it, right? Okay. So there's our T-34, totally wiping out our M4. And they got him. Where's the Bishop? The Biz Chop. Oh. Got the M4. Wow, that is good camo. That's ridiculous. Okay. So, yeah, not bad. Not bad. And I was the second top scorer. Our T-49 outscored me, and of course that's not surprising. And then also damage-wise, I was down the list 3. So, that's a pretty average battle for the Matilda. It's not great, but it's not bad. It just is. And if you get in the right situations, it can be great. So let's go ahead and run 1 or 2 more, and then we will call it a night. A lot of bumps and hills here. Hopefully I can abuse the terrain. We'll see. They got a KV-220 on the other side. I'm a little scared of that one. Hopefully I won't run into him. Let's see who can run into him. The PZSFL, the flak bus, the T-49 maybe, the M4. Man, he's gonna be tough to kill. I have a KV-220. You guys who've been watching my reviews know, and it's a pretty hard tank when it's got this kind of tearing. He's gonna be having fun. So there's the regular Matilda. He gets a slightly higher pen gun at the end than the Lend-Lease one. So over on my side, we're going to have a B1. Poor B1. You know what? If it could only ever see Tier 4, it would actually be an okay sort of tank. The B1 was my first real heavy tank, and it's got a big weak spot right on the front, and that kind of negates the whole heavy tank thing, doesn't it? You gotta keep your sides like angled at the enemy. Nice. Double bounce. Here comes Kenny. Oh, I'm stuck. Oh, what was I thinking? I got off of it. Kenny doesn't have a whole lot of health. He doesn't have any health now, but we got the heavies. There they are. Like I said, oh man. Oh no. This is not going to end well. Oh. And this guy, the Covenanter, he's going to be trouble for me too. Can he see me? Dang it. Hemmed in by the worst tanks in the game. Oh no. Oh no. They all came this way. Okay, I gotta back out. This is not gonna go well. I need to re-establish the battle lines. T-40 missed totally. The Covenanter, as you saw in that one battle, one Covenanter just ripped right through me like I had butter for armor. Oh boy. Ah, T-40. But at least now I can hit him. Or miss. Panzer 3, he's kind of a wuss. He's the wussy tank. I think I bounced. Yeah. Come on, Panzer III, bring it on. I know you can't pen me. I can handle you, buddy. So, the Matilda might be slow, but it can turn okay. Oh, no. Are we winning? We're at least we're winning. But we still got the T-40 over here. What else we got going on? Yeah, and the KV-220. The T-1 Heavy. Yeah. And I'm not going to be able to penetrate them. Hopefully, we have somebody who's smart and will cover the sides. Now, the KV-220 has a weak spot on its turret. If I can get at it. But it's going to be hard. Now, they have crappy pen, too. There, I got it. See? Oh, come on, guys. Really? You're going to leave me alone? 225. Oh, no. So he's still out there, too. Oh, boy. We are just completely surrounded by no help. Yeah, this is going not so good. Oh, well. Oh, boy. Look at this. Dang it. Yeah. It's over. For me, anyway. I'm having a ridiculously good game for what's happening to our team. Oh, boy. Now the fun's really over. Okay, so face hug time. This is where we're gonna face hug. Well, you know what? I did everything that I could. I did. And I still did a good job, so screw the rest of these guys because they sucked. Yeah, you know who's going to be the top scorer on our team. Probably that AT2, right? But seriously, look at the trail of death that I left behind me. I only got 3 kills, but I almost got that chi thingy, also the Kenny. So don't judge the tank on the team. So that wasn't a bad battle for me, actually. Now, I wasn't super high on the experience level. So that's a little bit above my average. So now that was with premium, though. So let's actually look at the real. So 395. 751 damage. That's pretty high considering how the things went. And 3 kills. And I dinged up that KV-220 pretty good. Got him half of his health down anyway. Almost half anyway. And then, 22,000 credits for a loss. That's not bad, I mean, really. So let's run one more. But that was, you didn't see how good the battle went, but I did good. I had a good game. So next. Now, this is one of those situations that you dread. And this is where the tank shows its weakness. And this, can be said of pretty much all of the Tier 5, or most of the Tier 5 premium tanks. They cannot compete on Tier 6. The KV-220 does okay on Tier 6. The Churchill 3 is terrible. The Excelsior is terrible. This tank and the BP are terrible. They can do okay, but they're never going to do well, unless you get really lucky. Now, unfortunately, I had a battle earlier tonight where I was middle tank in a Tier 6 battle, and I did really well. And the audio was screwed up, so I didn't get to keep it. But it's possible. It just doesn't happen very often. And even for me, who loves this tank and does well most of the time with this tank, it doesn't happen often. So it is the exception, not the norm. I never go on this side, so this is like all new territory for me. This guy's going to probably stop. Yep. Somebody just got hurt or broke something. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Now, I'm not that familiar with this side. I think that's where the beach starts on our side, so I think I need to go over there. Uh-oh. Already into the worst tank I can possibly run into, unless he's a crappy player. The Hellcat is going to kill me with one. Oh, man, we already lost 2 tanks. Oh. Yeah, there you go. Churchill 3. Premium Tier 5. Oh, no. Yeah, it's over. It's over. So, oh, no. I got to run into every single Tier 6 they got, right? Both the Hellcats. The KV-1S. No. The M4 is going to push around. Come on, I can hit him. Bring it on, M4. He's trying to track him. Bounces. How's this guy doing? Is he getting clobbered? Yep. Yeah, once they kill him, I'm done for, so... I haven't penetrated a single shot, not even on the stupid M4. And those things are made of putty. Where'd the Hellcat go? Oh, Lord. It's going fast. Did we lose that KV? Yeah. Oh, Churchill. Oh, this is so bad. I know. No kidding. What a blankety-blank team. Oh well. Yeah, so you can just see this is what I was afraid of, and totally what was was going to happen. And now the KV's they've got me pinched. So big surprise. So as you can see, it was a defeat. Our team completely crumbled, and there wasn't a whole lot I could do. I did get in a pissing match with the Churchill, who said I did nothing, but you guys saw it. And in fact, it'll be funny when he gets to watch the video, because I'm going to send it to him. He said I didn't fire a single shot, but oh look, there it is. I fired 6 shots. I had 6 direct hits, 2 penetrations. Did a lot of bouncing. Oh, let's look at his now. I know, no name and shame, no name and shame. Probably the detail's too low for you to see anything, but he fired 9 shots and got 3 direct hits. So not only did he talk to the wrong person about being a noob, but he also completely sucked himself. All right, so anyway. But that, I think that can wrap up our review at that point. You can see this tank is okay on Tier 5. It does its thing, and it can be very useful. And 2.5 kills per battle is about right. I had 2 the first and 3 the second. That equals about 2.5. But when you get into a Tier 6 match, it really is outmatched. And you're going to find a hard time penetrating anything. I even bounced off that stupid M4, which usually I can penetrate. So, anyway, it's a good tank. If you can get it for half off, it's worth buying. I hope you enjoyed this review. Have a great night.